Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Saturday, the 10th of February 2024. Today's Millwall news. We had this story, got published in the morning, and the response from many Millwall fans was just bewilderment, really, and confusion. This is from southernnews.co.uk. We need to score more goals. Joe Edwards lays out plan to counter bizarre Millwall clean sheet stat. It's like, yeah, mate, we know. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. The Lions head to Coventry on Sunday and needed more points to boost their campaign. Yes, indeed. Joe Edwards has urged his side to grab more goals so the team don't need to rely on clean sheets to guarantee victory. Every single one of Mill's 8 victories this season has been accompanied with a clean sheet, meaning that the Lions have had to rely on shutouts to win 3 points. The last time Mill won a game in which they also conceded was the 3-2 victory at Blackpool in April. That was last season. There are other interesting stats surrounding the Lions and their chances of victory being heavily dictated based on who scores and when. The last 25 times Mill have conceded the first goal in a game, they have failed to go on and win it. A run that goes back to a 2-1 victory over West Bromwich Albion in October 2022 when John Swift scored first at the Den. The Lions have also dropped an eye-catching 21 points from winning positions this season, with 12 of those coming under Edwards. Had Millwall managed to hang on to all those leads, they would have 54 points and be sat in 5th place in the Championship. Asked about all of Millwall's wins coming via clean sheet, Edwards said during his pre-match press conference, sometimes with stats you do have to look at them and say that's just how it is. You can't read too deeply into the patterns. The biggest thing I take from it, that we need to score more goals. We win games when we aren't conceding, because normally when we score one we keep the clean sheet and it means the one goal was decisive, but scoring one goal is not necessarily going to win your games with the level of competition we got. We need to get positions where several of our games where we've gone 1-0 up, for example, we need to get the next one and get more 2-0 scorelines. Every team in the world will be aiming for clean sheets. It will be a shout. It will be the shout from all defenders and defensive type players in their dressing room just before they go out. Let's be solid. Let's keep a clean sheet. Everyone wants to do it, and we had a spell of doing it well over Christmas, but it's not always that easy. So we always need to make sure that for the games where we do concede or teams break the deadlock early like Hull did, or they equalise once we've gone 1-0 up, that we can go again, and that's clear the standpoint for me. Since my first game where we scored 4 in 1, there's probably been too many games where we either score none or 1. And that's not reliable enough to stack as many points as we would like. So yeah, we need to score more goals. Apparently, like I said, a lot of people, a lot of Mill fans on the socials and stuff were just scratching their heads. Like, what is he talking about? Like, why? This is just basic stuff. Why is he saying that? It's worrying, very worrying. Obviously, he's probably responding to a question from someone in the media, but still, Jesus. Now, obviously, we play on Sunday. This is a preview coming up. But before we get to that, a look at the table. We didn't fall too far. Could have been worse, but Birmingham, did they play? Or I don't know if they played. Yeah, they probably did, because they lost to Sheffield Wednesday. So yeah, Sheffield Wednesday beat Birmingham. And Stoke lost as well. So we only dropped from 16th to 18th because Blackburn won and Swansea won. But if we win tomorrow, we can go back up to 16th. If we draw, it doesn't really do anything. We just stay where we are, just get an extra point. QPR drew against Norwich City today. They were in the lead, and it ended up being 2-2. We are now 4 points away from relegation. 4 points. That's 2 games. So the Coventry game, and then one more game, and we could be in the relegation places. When you've got the manager saying we need to score more goals, and talking about pre-planned, he's looking at last season to see how the hell did Bradshaw and Fleming score all those goals? Or it was the Millwall chaos. It wasn't pre-planned football. 'Cause here's the thing. It's chaos. You can't defend against chaos, can you? If you don't know what's coming, how are you going to react to it? But pre-planned football, if Joe Bryan's going to come down the left, Norton Covey's going to go down the right. Well, I wonder how we're going to defend against that. Well, that's pretty easy, isn't it? But when you do the Millwall chaos on teams, they have no bloody idea what's coming. They have no idea what's hit them, and they get confused, bewildered, and we can nip in and score. So yeah, that's the Millwall chaos, but that seems to be out of fashion these days. We're trying to play a new brand of football, which still waiting for that, eh? Hopefully soon, though. Hopefully soon. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe we can play well, passing it around at the back and get a win. That would be nice. Now, let's preview the game. Here we go. We've got the history. 11v11.com. Kind of weird because it's out of order. It's we start down here, 1909, January. This is in the Southern League First Division. So the first time we played them was January 1909. We lost 4-2. And you can see it ends here because this switches then to Millwall game. So we didn't, what was that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trips up to Coventry and we didn't win. And then we go back up to the 7th game. Did we get a result in the 7th game? Yes, we did. We won. So it took us 7 trips up to Coventry before we beat them. And that was a 4-1 spanking, and you can see here. This is a game that has a lot of goals over the years, a lot of spankings. 4-1 from us in 1926, 5-0 from them in 1935, 4-0 in 1947, 4-1 in 1953, 4-1 in 1955, again December 1955, 5-1, losing 5-1. In 1957 we beat them 4-1. So you can see it's spankings galore. In 2004 there was a big gap when we didn't play them between 1990 and 2002 because of they were in the top division at that time, and they have fallen on hard times more recently, and they have joined us in the scrum. 4-0 in 2004. That would have been a week after the old fall for the fourth. The week after we beat Sunderland to go to the to guarantee our place in the FA Cup final. We lost 4-0 to Coventry, which, seeing as we were going for a playoff place as well, that would have been I can't remember it, but that would have been a hell of a disappointment at the time. Even though we did have the FA Cup final, but to get in the playoffs would have been the cream on top of the cake. So yeah, then it settles down after that until 8th of May 2021. I think that was the famous game where Gary Rowett decided to put Marlon Romeo as a centre back. Although that wasn't his first time, it was his second time. The first time I think he done okay. Second time, Coventry away. That didn't work, did it? We ended up losing 6-1. And then we beat them again. So you can see it's a game we lose a lot. It's a game that we do win a fair share. I don't see many draws. When's the last draw? So the last time we drew against them at Coventry was in 1988. That was a 0-0 draw, and before then 1985. So there's 2 draws there. There's another draw there. We've only drawn up there 3 times over the years. Only 3 draws. All the games that you can see on your screen, and then going down to these ones here. There's another 2 there. So 1, 2. So that's 5. So we've only drawn up at Coventry 5 times. What does that mean? I don't know, but let's move on to this from whoscored.com. So you can see the last. Why? So the last 6 games, like we've seen, there have been no draws. There's been 3 wins for them and 3 wins for us. So it's even. It's pretty balanced. We've had a red card. We've also had 15 yellow cards, whereas they've only had 5. That's a bit weird. A massive difference there. Okay. And then we go to this, and we can see so we have kept 3 clean sheets. The game, like said in the previous story, the games that we've won at Coventry, we kept clean sheets. We failed to score in 1 game. So all of the 3 defeats, 2 of them we scored goals in, the 6-1 and the 2-1. But whenever we've won there, we've kept a clean sheet. So scroll down. So here are the teams in the standing. They've lost 8 games. We've won 8 games. Won 11, drawn 11, and lost 8. Yeah, so they're 10th in the table. We're 18th. Won 8, drawn 9, lost 13. Averaging 1 goal per game. Scoring. Only conceded 38. The last 6 games at home for Coventry, the last 6 away from Millwall. We've failed to score in 4 of our last 6 away games. We've failed to score. Failed to score at Cardiff, losing 1-0. Failed to score at Stoke, drawing 0-0. Failed to score at QPR, losing 2-0. Failed to score last week at Hull, losing 1-0. The 2 games that we did scoring, we scored 2 at Leicester where we lost 3-2. And we scored at Bristol City where we won that game 1-0. Because of course we kept that clean sheet, which helps us to win. 2 of those performances were the worst attacking performances or performances generally of the season so far. The Stoke game and the QPR game, just utterly abysmal. Nothing going forward at all. Just really dire. Whole game wasn't that bad. We had the early mistake, but on the second half they turned it around, which makes me think that the way the team was set up wasn't right. It got changed at half time, and then it got improved. But Coventry, let's look at them. So they've only kept 1 clean sheet in their last 6 games at home. That was to Sheffield Wednesday. Bizarrely, both teams had a player sent off. They conceded against Sheffield Wednesday in the Cup last home game, winning 4-1. They conceded 2 to Bristol City. That was a 2-2 draw. They conceded 1. They beat Leicester at home. They beat Leicester, runaway leaders in this league. They beat them 3-1. They scored 6 against Oxford, but they did concede 2. So you can see 3 of their last 6 home games, they've conceded 2 goals. Does that mean anything for us? Not if we're playing 1 up front. Not if we're playing the way that Joe Edwards wants us to play. That's not going to do us very much good. Here are the strengths and weaknesses for both teams. Here's the match forecast. But that doesn't seem to pan out though. Now moving on to this, the actual prediction from WhoScored.com. They have Liam Kitching out. He's only rated 6.65, so he's a decent player, not one of their better players like Ben Sheaf. Don't give a fuck about it. Now, match facts. There have been over 2.5 goals scored in Coventry's last 6 championship games. And there have been under 2.5 goals scored in 8 of Millwall's last 9 games. So we have a battle of the overs and the unders. A team that scores a lot and concedes a lot against a team that doesn't do either of those. Coventry produced a perfect response in their 2-1 away defeat against Norwich when they hammered championship rivals Sheffield Wednesday 4-1 in the FA Cup on Tuesday night. The Sky Blues were unbeaten in 10 prior to the last league defeat and sit 7th in the standings heading into game week 31. Millwall failed to produce a response to Jalen Philogene 5th-minute strike last weekend as they slipped to a 1-0 away defeat against playoff hopefuls Hull. Joe Edwards' men have picked up just 1 point from their last 4 championship outings ahead of the trip to the CBS Arena, and they predict Coventry 2, Millwall 0. So there you go, 2-0 defeat. Now moving on to SkySports.com, David Prutton's predictions What does he have to say? So, obviously we are on Sky, so I doubt I'll have to scroll down too far, and of course not. Here we are. Coventry versus Millwall. Sunday at 12 p.m. kickoff live on Sky Sports Football. If you want to know where you can watch it if you're in other countries around the world, check out the video I made yesterday, because I can tell you. I'm not going to repeat it. So that was a bit of a setback for Coventry last weekend to take the lead in the second half at Norwich. They probably would have been expecting to go on and win the game with the form they're in. So to come away with nothing, having their unbeaten run end and get nudged out of the top six, was a blow. Millwall have slipped a little of late, but this is now a season of rebuilding and consolidation. They need to give Joe Edwards the time, or there would have been no point in bringing him in for Gary Rowett. That being said, they don't want to slip too much closer to the bottom three than they are now. But I think Coventry will take confidence from their FA Cup win in midweek and bounce back in the league. And again, we have 2-0. So Coventry City 2, Millwall 0. I have no idea what this is going to be. No idea. I'm slightly pessimistic. But like you saw with the draws, they haven't drawn for a while. We don't really draw up there. It could be a draw, the early kickoff, 12 o'clock. And so those games are always kind of dead, aren't they? They're not really full of energy. So I can't. Is it going to be a lot of goals? I don't think so. Was it the Man City at Everton game? Was an early kickoff today? And that was a bit dull, wasn't it? Until late on in the second half. Until they brought Kevin De Bruyne on. So yeah, I think the early kickoff might subdue it. So I'm probably going to go 1-1, to be honest with you. 1-1. That's optimistic is 1-1. Pessimistic is 4-0. But like I said, I don't think there's going to be rampant goals because of the early kickoff. So I'm going to go to the 1-1. And yeah, that's my prediction. Coventry City 1, Millwall 1. And on that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.